This episode of the Off-Road Podcast is sponsored by Colby Valve and For Patriots.
Off-Road Podcast, episode 445, the search for the next disposable hero.
Tonight, Aaron can't find a leak, Coy gets popping, and Ben buys more crap.
He sounds so excited about that. Welcome to the Off-Road Podcast, a podcast about everything off-road. We cover the news, review products, and interview people in the off-road industry. Your hosts tonight are Aaron, Coy, and my name is Ben, and welcome to the show.
Thank you. It's good to be here. Thanks for having me this week. Appreciate you having me on.
Yeah, we appreciate you being here.
Whoa. Just shifting us around?
No, I'm put it on the other layout.
You wanted to be on the bottom.
Yep.
I get it. I understand. That's fine. Whatever.
It's usually where I am.
Ben, your Forerunner is looking mighty gold colored. I thought it was yellowish tan. What's going on with your Forerunner back there?
That's the minivan. And
I totally thought that was your Forerunner.
yeah, I know. Very easy to confuse the two.
Tomato, tomato.
But the wife, I promised her I'd do some work on the minivan, and it was getting down to Sunday, and it was like, I should probably do that now. So I pulled it in, and then I broke some stuff. So I'm waiting for new parts because the kit I brought, it just wasn't proper. So I got another kit because plastic clips like to break. So
I feel like, Ben, did you move your webcam? I feel like we're at a catfish angle. Like we're up looking down at you a little bit.
well, my monitor sits so high,
Yeah,
Oh.
like this.
so it's
Yeah.
I'm actually working on a desk, a sitting desk, or not a sitting desk, a higher desk at like my workbench where I can have my computers there at the.
This camera can be even higher that way.
So the camera will actually be at a regular person level instead of like up here. So
Very nice.
very nice, yeah. So I guess I should talk about the crap I bought too, right?
Yeah, do it.
So I bought this. It's an Agency 6 grab handle for my tailgate. The crappy one that was on the back of there broke when I was lubricating the rails for my back window and cleaning out all the dirt. And so I left it off for a couple months. And then every time I've asked the kids to like close the tailgate, they can't reach it, except for my oldest. And the little ones would be able to like hop on the bumper and grab the little grab handle. So I was like, you know what an excuse to buy some more crap. So I bought that, and then I bought new riv nuts for my skid plates for what I had to drill out, because like this is the size, your standard little riv nut, and it wasn't grabbing the metal good enough. So I grabbed one of these, and that'll grab. And
You're going from 380 to 10 mil.
yeah, and that's what it squishes down to. So I should be able to grab very well and not have any problems with them popping out, because I experienced that and I had to throw a bolt on upside down. And I'm not a fan of that because it's like kind of just hanging down. And then I got extractor bolts, and then I think I talked about it to you guys after the show. It's like it's what they use for extracting head bolts to ensure they don't break. You put it in your air hammer, and you put a wrench on it, and it kind of vibrates the bolt, and you twist it. And so I got a set of those too.
What did I run? I actually want a set of those. I don't know what the name for those is, but yeah, it's that hammer wrench thing.
I think I only paid like $20 for two of them, for a 3/4 and a 3 or a 1/2 inch and a 3/8 kit. I can look it up right here.
Throw a picture of it up if you can. Yeah, it's a adapter that goes on your pneumatic air hammer, and it free spins, has a like a 1/2 inch or a 3/8 socket drive on it, and then a spot for you to put, I don't know what size of wrench, and then you put a socket on there, put it on the bolt you're going, run your air hammer, and then use the wrench to just rotate it. So
how long does it How long does it take Temu to get those shipped to you?
It was Amazon, and it was 2 day.
And then what is that like a? Is that like
It
a
was
3/4 inch wrench that you need to actually put on the air hammer drive part
Yeah.
to rotate it?
Yeah, and it was $27. But you can
Yeah,
buy.
those I've seen those. Those are pretty clever.
Yeah, I'd seen a video with some guy using them, and I was like, that's sounds like a good idea.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Just
I thought
because,
that's what Coy was suggesting to you when he mentioned using an air hammer after the show, was just to, I didn't know those existed, but I thought he was just, because some people say if you just shock it a whole bunch with like an air hammer,
Yeah.
you can get stuff
I
free.
figured he was talking about using a chisel and just chiseling it out. But it's that bolt's rounded, and just in case I have any other bolts that give me problems, even though I only have like 2 left, I think it is, to get the rest of the skid plate off. Maybe it's 3.
Mhm.
But they're up higher, and they should come out a whole lot easier. We'll see. We never know with my luck.
Well, like Coy says, you get a 12-point socket that's just a tad bit too small and smash it on there with a hammer.
Well, I tried that, and I couldn't get one to stick. So I ended up getting the extractor set. It was $20 for the small size bits. And so I was like, screw it. I'll probably have plenty of
Plus
that.
27, so now we're $47 into getting these 3 bolts out, Ben.
Hey, it's tools, and I have a shop for all my tools. So
You could have bought a torch kit for like 200. Like
I have a torch.
You could have turned that bolt to a liquid by now.
It's right by the gas tank. So I was very hesitant to be putting.
Don't well on the gas tank and you'll be fine.
Yeah. Well, it's a plastic gas tank and a torch right by it. Just does not sound like those two would mix very well.
You'd be fine.
It's.
You'd be surprised
really bad luck.
What they can do for burn victims these days. I think you would have recovered sooner than you think.
Oh, and then I got an extended tank drain for my air compressor, because you have to reach under it to turn it, and it's leaking because some crap's stuck in there. So I was like, I'll just get a new extended one instead of bothering with just cleaning it out and call it good. Because I want to have nice.
I don't think I've ever let the condensation out of my air compressor. So probably got like 12 years worth of water in there.
Yeah, I've watched a video of one explode in a guy's garage. Like, he walked outside, and as he's walking in the garage, it exploded, and it just scares the crap out of me. So I'm like, no, thank you.
Ben, it looks like we've got a voicemail that you might need to download while we're doing this so you can play it before our main topic.
Yeah, I'll get that going up. What about you, Coy? What's new?
I didn't do too much this week. I did find some firecrackers I had laying around, and they're the cool ones with the waterproof fuse, the slower burning fuse, not the kind that go off your fingers. So I got a big handful of those, and we were doing some burning outside. So, just brush and stuff. And then my children enjoyed learning about the joys of firecrackers. Like, they were just running around looking for things to stick them in. So we evaporated a few old rotten apples that were still hanging around out here.
Oh, yuck.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
Threw out some water puddles, all the good stuff that you probably remember doing as a child.
Yes.
Yeah.
And then I've just been really going kind of back down the Moab trip research rabbit hole. So even though this would technically be like my 4th trip there, I'm still also not got the bug. We're talking about the trip this fall, and which trails. So now I'm watching a bunch of trail reports and all kinds of stuff.
That brings me back to something that I didn't talk about. I don't even think I've talked to you guys about it. I'm going to do some of the Idaho backcountry discovery route this summer.
Very cool.
Yeah, the boys.
Thanks for the invitation.
Well,
we invited you to come to Moab, but I get it. That's fine.
So what happened is, the boys go to summer camp, and there's summer camps a week later. So I'm going to go to the Northwest Overland Rally with Sarah, And then she goes back to work, and I've got to take one of the boys to Montana, and I'm going to pick up my youngest, and I'm going to pick him up in Missoula. And it just so happens that, or not Missoula, but up by Glacier Flathead, and then pop down to Missoula and drive from Missoula to the backcountry discovery route that pops right through there, just off of Highway 12. So I figured I'd hit it going south and take the long way home with the kid.
Nice.
And we could, have some fun. He's never been on a long trip with just us two. I'm like, why not? And actually, if you guys do want to come, you're more than welcome. It's just kind of a long way to go to Montana for no reason. Yeah. Well, I mean, there is a reason, but
Yeah. That's awesome. I'm excited for you. I wonder if there's any listeners in that area that might want to join you. That's how you met Jeremy.
Yeah. Then I can be like, one of us, get him on once.
Yeah. You can show them how awesome you can jump your Forerunner.
Yeah. I mean, hey, it'd be a little better this time at jumping.
Should be.
Just a little.
So you've already clearance that gas tank skid. So
yeah. and hopefully by the summer I'll have the skid plate on.
Burn.
Ouch.
Gosh,
yeah, maybe those 3 bolts will come out by then.
We'll see. I mean, we're still good for 2028. That's the goal, right?
I think that was the goal. Yeah, 2028. So we're still on.
We're on track. So go ahead, Coy. Anything else besides your Moab research?
No, just watching lots of videos and sending them to different people that might be interested. Trying to lock down dates and stuff. Just getting in the vibe and excited about it again. It's always fun to share it. So.
Yeah. Coy is trying to make him and I both broke. Over the weekend, he sent me a Craigslist ad to a cab over truck with a sleeper and a box on the back that could easily be turned into a motorhome / mechanic shed. And then you just put a car trailer behind that and put both of our rigs on that, and we could just take that to Moab instead of us driving individual rigs down there, which I think is a great idea.
I mean, think of the cost. It's going to cost us probably $1,000 each in fuel to go to Moab and back. Right? I think that's fair. Maybe not quite that much. Maybe a little more. Depends on fuel prices. That toter home is only $12,000 and needs some work.
Just a little work, but
a little work. We split fuel. It probably actually saved us in fuel. We tow both rigs. We'll have to sell our trailers and buy a 2-car trailer.
But I mean,
refit the entirety of the inside of that into a motorhome, and then obviously pick up a couple of adventure bikes. I'm not saying like $30,000 Honda Africa.
No, they don't have to be that expensive.
Like a KTM or something. We pick it up $6,000-8,000, whatever. A couple of those, just because once we have the motorhome parked, we don't want to be running that around. So we need some bikes to get around. Yeah,
you got to get to town on a bike.
I feel like we're into this under $25,000 each, and it saves money long term.
I'd probably need to take an extra week off of work unpaid. Since we got the bikes, we might as well go on an adventure ride while we're there too.
Obviously, we're going to probably have to take a week off just to get this thing running and stuff too. So that's say
true too. Yeah,
probably sometime here in the spring we'll both take a week off to really get down. Like we need to go through all those air cans and stuff and do a little pre-trip. Take it on 300-400 mile run. Just check it all out.
Ben could come down and do the pre-trip for us. Do the pre-trip inspection. It's super fresh in his mind.
Oh yeah.
I own a Class A vehicle. Ain't nobody's pre-trip of that, including myself.
The problem was, Coy, I showed that ad to my wife and she immediately walked away and didn't even let me explain how it was going to be a good idea.
My wife was actually kind of into it. A little bit, I should say. She was middle of the road. She didn't hate it. She didn't love it. But that's the perfect spot, because then you can go to the positive side from there. You bring the positive attributes. And I explained, this is long term. This thing never wears out. Essentially,
no,
truckers put 1 million miles on it. I
Yeah.
can always rebuild this. We build it how we want, and then here's the kicker. It's like, this is a semi. This thing can tow 80,000 pounds. We pick up a short load. We're on our way to Hammers. I pick up a short load, drop it off in San Francisco on the way down. I paid for
You get
fuel.
paid.
Yeah.
You just got paid.
Yeah, like this is I make money on the trip.
And what happens,
needs a car moved or something?
What happens if I need like a D6 cat at my house? I can't tow that with my wife's truck.
Exactly.
I mean, you can, but I've seen those pictures on YouTube and Facebook. It's not a good idea.
Some third world country, and they always get about halfway up the hill before everything goes backwards. I'm just saying, it's you can spend $120,000 on a diesel pusher, or you can spend 12 grand and put 20 into an old cab over Mack truck and be the coolest guy in town. Like that thing looked like the Autobot.
Yep. Yeah, you can't go wrong. It's a solid plan.
Yeah.
Yeah, so besides trying to sell my wife on the idea of me buying a semi truck, I got back out in the shop and was looking at my Frontier. I still haven't found any vacuum leaks. I'm thinking that might be kind of what the issue is some sort of vacuum leak, but I can't find one. So then I went through the wire harness. I mean, I didn't go through it, but I looked all over at the wire harness to see if there was any like rodent damage. Haven't found any rodent damage to the wire harness. Haven't seen any loose grounds or anything. I'm kind of stumped. So the next step is to maybe get like a fuel pressure gauge and see if maybe I've got a fuel pressure regulator going out, or the fuel pump, or a dirty fuel filter, which is an in-tank filter on this kind of truck. So I guess that's kind of the next step there, is to check that all out. So we'll see. I don't know.
I wonder if you would benefit, like time-wise, like having someone with a scan tool, like one of the fancy scan tools, scan it and see. I'm going with that just because like it might save you a bunch of digging to find out it was something electronic and be like, oh, there's something I couldn't visually see wrong.
I would just kind of expect that I'd get a code or something.
Yeah.
I'm not getting codes. I need to try to drive it some more.
What makes you think that it's a vacuum leak?
Well,
I guess explain what it's doing, just in case there's a listener that happens to be listening.
Oh, sure.
Oh, I know.
Yeah. So when you're driving it and you stay off the throttle and you're just kind of really babying the truck, it drives fine. But when you need to accelerate up a hill or there's a load on the engine, it starts to choke and hiccup, and it feels like someone's cutting spark or cutting fuel, and like the engine just loses power. It's not like it goes down in power. It just it's like you're hitting a rev limiter. And so
fuel pressure, I could see fuel pressure with that.
Yep. So it might be, it's got to be something like that. And so the reason why I thought it might be a vacuum leak is because if it's getting unmetered air past the MAF somewhere, then if it's sucking in unmetered air, then I've had that happen before where it's stuttered and stumbled. So I don't know. That's kind of why I was
the only reason I have a hard time believing it's fuel cut is because it seems like the computer to me is cutting spark. Like that's what it, because it spits and sputters like it's getting too much fuel. I mean, it sounds like a rev limiter, so it doesn't sound like it's choking because it's running out of fuel. It literally sounds like the computer's limiting power.
I agree with that. I'm just trying to do the things that I can look into before I talk to somebody else. So Eric's asking if it's got a plugged cat. It definitely does not have a plugged cat. None of the 4 cats are plugged for sure.
This is me going just way out wild. If you do that, do you have a traction control light?
Mm-hmm.
Have you watched to see if your traction control light comes on when it does this?
Well, right now there's some issue, and I don't know what's going on, but the ABS light is on, which causes the slip light to also come on.
Could
And
that be part of this then?
I think that's related.
But when those things are on, it shuts the traction control off, and I can do burnouts for days and not have any interruption of the traction control. Maybe I need to check my ABS lines or something. So
I don't know about
Front-
Nissans, but say like Toyotas, like when I have the traction control going, it'll and you start trying to do it, like it cuts electronically, will cut itself out. It doesn't sound like yours really, but I don't have a straight piped exhaust, so it might if I did. Have you tried putting it in 4 low and seeing if it still does it?
I put it in 4 low to try to get it home when I drove it that quarter mile away from my house, and it did better, but it was still like barely hanging on to life. So, but that's a good possibility. So when these lights come on the Nissan, it's because something got reset, and the truck has to relearn that you're driving in a straight line. So it'll turn that slip light off, and which will turn the ABS light off. And for that to happen, you have to like turn the truck on, have the steering wheel straight, and drive for like 50 feet in a straight line with the steering wheel straight, with the truck going straight. And right now, I don't have a good alignment. So it must have been from a recent wheeling thing. So it veers to the right a little bit. So I can't get it straightened out to fix that issue. Maybe, no.
Is it measuring where your steering wheel's pointed, or just needs to feel the momentum of a truck going perfectly straight?
It's measuring where the steering wheel is going. Yeah.
Oh.
So if you're correcting, so technically, if you had like an airport runway and you could have the steering wheel straight, but the truck is veering to the right, it should clear it. But also, all 4 tires need to be spinning at the same rate. I tried to trick it one time by putting it on jack stands and putting it in 4-wheel drive, and I couldn't trick it.
Because I know like Toyotas, you can have to do a relearn thing sometimes, but you got to go do like big circles in a parking lot. Like you go circles with.
No, this one's pretty straightforward, no pun intended, and I've done it many times. But yeah.
Can we just go out to a Costco parking lot at night? Is that big enough for you to do 50 feet without correcting or whatever?
Yeah, it's only an hour drive to the nearest Costco.
Can we just do it when your field's dry? Just hold the steering wheel straight and rip.
Tyler in the comments says that I can reset the angle sensor with a Z1 scan tool, so I'll have to look into a Z1 scan tool. And welcome, Tyler. I haven't seen you in a while. Good to see your name pop up. He must be excited about our disposable hero that we're going to talk about.
Must be. Did any of you guys watch King of the Hammers this weekend?
I mostly watched the videos of the night stuff with the crowds and people driving over each other and just blowing their motors and stuff.
And like the guys who get in fights and punch each other.
The fist fight, the girl punching the guy.
Girls. Let's not be gender biased here. That one video of that chick, I don't know if she hits him with a beer can or a rock or what is.
She laid him out.
I don't know what happened, but it appeared he dumped someone's beer out and was talking crap. It's far away. And then what looks like a chick comes up with something big in her hand and just blasts him in the side of the head. And generally between dudes, that's like attempted murder.
Yeah, it sounded like he was like interfering with the wheeling that was going on.
There's only 3,000 people there, like everyone's interfering.
Yeah.
It just blows my mind that all the videos were like, don't mess with this chick. But if it was a dude, it'd be like, that guy's going to jail.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like,
exactly.
I like the one where a guy had like a built 4Runner. I mean, kind of in the vein of our trucks, look like maybe 35s or so, front bumper of the winch. Looked like he was stuck. There was some like tube frame buggy Jeep trying to get around him. And he just stops trying and drives over the hood of the guy's 4Runner. Like just clearly just screw it and just drives over. And the crowd goes wild, but it's like, if somebody in a buggy just drove over the hood of my FJ while I was stuck, I would on foot, my fat butt would chase you with the intent of throttling all life out of you. Like, I don't know how no one's been murdered down there yet. Like, someone's got to die at some point, I think.
Yeah.
Just looking at these crowds and the stuff that's going on, it's insane.
Yeah. Well, I caught some of this race, and I heard about this guy coming across the line. And this is a Can-Am, one of the side-by-sides. And he finished the race with this broken in half coilover or strut. It's hard to tell. It looks like a coilover that's snapped in half. But he managed to finish the race like that, and he placed pretty high. It's Kyle Cheney and Terry Madden from Can-Am Off-Road. So yeah, they
I do gotta say, man, are the side-by-sides getting better? Like, there was no side-by-side coverage, and I saw some crazy side-by-side stuff where just like they would be hitting these rocks and the suspension movement, and like you'd think they're gonna roll, and the dude's catching it, and the catches it. Like some really intense side-by-side stuff that I'd never seen before this year. Did you guys notice that?
I noticed there was some sort of like lack of coverage on like a lot of things. Like when John Matthews was running qualifiers, he had like mentioned once or twice, and they said like he was favored to do well, and they totally skipped out on mentioning him while he was doing the qualifying race. And I was like, that's kind of disappointing. Yeah, finished physical first, but got 56-minute penalty, which pushed him back to 8th.
What did he get a 56-minute penalty for?
I think he probably cut some stuff out. There's some stuff you can go around, but you get
like he took a shortcut, essentially.
Yeah. That from what I understand, there's a couple spots where you can cut through and you get penalties. So yeah, it was what I enjoyed getting to watch with a few times I got to watch it. Like I was watching it at work in between shifts while I'm sitting there on the bus waiting for the high schoolers to get out of school. So
what did you see the video? It looked like there was a Ferris wheel in Hammertown. Did you see that?
No.
I'm pretty sure there was a Ferris wheel in Hammertown.
Oh my goodness.
There's something huge and circular with LED lights on it that looked like a Ferris wheel from a distance. And I showed it to a buddy. I was like, is there a Ferris wheel in Hammertown? And he went there in like 2019. He's like, probably. Like, that's par for course.
Yeah. It was an interesting year because they had quite a bit of rain before the races.
Oh yeah, Leroy Overlanding says he was that a Ferris wheel, or what do you think? Tyler Burns says between Campbell's issues, Raul Gomez flipping and Lauren Healy losing a trans input shaft with 1 mile left to finish the race. It was a crazy race this year.
Yeah, and like John Matthews, his transfer case blew up, and so he didn't even finish. And apparently, there was a video of a guy on a Ferris wheel at Hammertown.
Like I was pretty sure it was a Ferris wheel, but it's like it's crazy there. There's a picture of a fire that you could see from like 14 miles away, like a bonfire.
Oh, yeah. There was a Ferris wheel. There's a video on the King of Hammers page.
Wow. Good night.
Like it's getting I think we have to go next year, guys. Like something's gonna happen where they're gonna have to bottleneck it a little bit somehow or do something. Like
yeah.
Apparently there's a Laser Town now too. So I haven't kept up with King of Hammers.
Interesting.
I just some of these pictures of the night wheeling and then the parties, even the Everyman's Challenge. Did you see all the crazy traffic jam where guys were broke down? It was like 12 rigs, just all, I think it was the bottom of Chocolate Thunder or whatever, just all trying to drive over each other and stuff. Like it's getting chaotic, man.
Yeah. No, I was watching stuff and I'm just like, man, it would be fun to go. And The only thing that sucks is with my new bus driver schedule is I could probably only go for 4 days. I'd have to leave it like right after I got off work on a Wednesday.
Well, you can just PTO, Ben.
No, that is my PTO. I get like
Oh.
2-3 days I can use.
Well, it makes
No, you
sense.
You can get unpaid time off also.
Oh, that's a whole lot harder to do.
I
Contract.
have an even better question, Ben. How long do you have to stay out of that school bus if you get COVID?
I wish it was like that. Oh, sorry, I got COVID, guys. I'm going to Hammertown.
No. You take 3 days off going to Hammerdown. You're like, man, there was 1 billion people there. California, I got COVID. I'm down positive. So 10 days off, man. Follow the sites. And what are they going to say? Get back here with your COVID, drive these kids around in this enclosed box? Like, no, you're free to go.
Yeah,
that's hilarious. Tyler, I'm going to reach out to you after the show or tomorrow. I want to ask you some more questions about this Z1 scan tool. So stay tuned.
This Week in Review was brought to you by 4 Patriots. Have you ever been concerned with the shelf life of the food you take camping? Since you're a listener of the podcast, we know you at least keep some emergency food stashed in your rig. 4 Patriots sells a variety of survival food and equipment that pair great with the off-road and adventure lifestyle. 4 Patriots set up a special page for you at 4patriots.com/FRN so that listeners of the Off-Road Podcast can see this week's discounts and deals before they go away.
Well, you guys want to hear this voicemail we got?
Yeah. I'm curious who it is. I have no idea.
Prediction for the next disposable hero is going to be the Nissan Path Smasher.
Play that again.
For the next disposable hero is going to be the Nissan Path Smasher.
Oh, the Path Smasher.
Who is that?
541 area code?
Yeah, don't give the number away because that might not be good. But yeah, 541 is an Oregon area code. I have no idea who that is.
I don't recognize the
It's
name.
Nobody in my phone book that I can tell.
That's nobody I recognize either.
Oh, Travis is saying it's him. Ha! Now we have Travis' phone number. We're gonna spam call you.
Yeah. Yep. I'm gonna robocall you.
Thanks for calling in, Travis.
We're about to call and see if you'd like solar panels installed on your roof.
Hello, I'm a prince from Africa.
We'll have Eric call him about his extended warranty coverage.
Yeah, there we go.
He'll mess up and have to call back. Don't worry. We also want to thank our sponsor, Patriot Patch. Head over to patriotpatch.co and check out their selection of great patches, shirts, cleaning mats, signs, and stickers. You can also join the Patch of the Month Club for $15 and receive a patch, matching sticker, and artist proof each month.
Oh, look at that. That's those right here, right?
These right here? Yes, these right here. Ben, did you get 2 stickers?
No, I only got 1.
Oh, I guess they don't love you as much as they love me.
Did you
Yours
notice?
are probably sticking together.
Did you notice, guys, how I don't have mine?
Did you not check your mail?
No, it's because my wife immediately was like, "Was this for me?" And I was like, "Yeah." And she's like, "Oh my god, so sweet."
Does she even understand what's happening in the picture?
She liked it.
All right. Well, great. Good job.
Yeah.
I last night I was putting something away in a cupboard behind me, and I opened it up and I found a Christmas or birthday present for my wife up there. And I pulled it out. I pulled it out and I said, "Honey, come in here. I got something for you," because her birthday is like a week after Christmas. And so I handed it to her. I said, "Merry birthday." And then
Merry Christmas.
That was yesterday. And today we were talking and I'm like, "Oh shoot, I screwed up. I wasn't supposed to give that to you till Valentine's Day. That was actually your Valentine's gift, and I gave it to you early."
I swear you just do the happy Valentine's.
Yeah, it was funny.
That's great.
Anyways, yep. Also, we have patches, $13 shipped in the US for one, $10 for any additional, or $10 picked up in person from any one of us three. Just send us a message through any of our channels, and we can set you up with a PayPal link.
Have tire troubles ever left you deflated? Colby Valve has got you covered. Ever have a valve stem leak? Colby Valve makes reusable and easily replaceable valve stems that don't require you to remove your tire from the wheel. They work with your off-road rig, ATV, side-by-side, commuter vehicle, or even your tractor. Never be left stranded again because of a busted valve stem. They also have a tire repair kit for those punctures that keep you away from doing your favorite thing, wheeling. Make sure to check out colbyvalve.com or ask for them at your local off-road products store.
All right, guys, we got our first article from Motor One, the Ram 15 RHO, what we know. Before I read this article, I wanted to touch base with you guys. What do you think RHO stands for? Is this a Ram 1500 row?
Ram high output.
I thought maybe it was that, but I want to really, really, really push this, that we all start calling it really high output. So when we see it, we can make fun, like, "Whoa, really high output." Oh. Just something I want to put out in the universe. And also, if we call it a row, that makes it, doesn't that make it feel slow, like you're rowing it?
Row.
Are you going to lean out your window and do a rowing motion every time you drive by one, or is this going to be kind of like TRX, where it's just like TRX was T-Rex, so this is going to be Rhino?
I would have called it something different. RNO, or I don't know, Rhino. I don't know.
Ram off-road performance. I don't know. ROP.
I imagine it's Ram high output or something like that, but it doesn't transfer very well to the civilian market in the fact that
I hate how big it is. It looks boring.
Cool.
Giant bold row.
Yeah, it is very bold. The RHO, as it's a big on the tailgate as well. I don't know. Let's find out about it. Tell us about it, Coy.
Yeah, so Ram updated the 1500 pickup for 2025, giving the truck a refreshed design, new powertrains, and 2 new trims. One of those trims is the new RHO, a performance-oriented pickup that will serve a new kind of Ram customer. RHO won't be as potent as the TRX, which ends production after 2024 model year. So that's going to end this year, at the end of this year, and the next year the RHO is going to start off. So it does kind of seem like a replacement for their TRX. But it should be just as capable. Ram hasn't dished out all the details yet about the new pickup, though. The Ram 1500 Row is a new trim for the 2025 model year. It's an off-road oriented pickup that will sit above the Rebel in the Bram's refresh lineup of sporty trucks. The RHO won't be a direct replacement for the TRX. Instead, it will serve a new kind of customer, according to Ram. Although it may have less horsepower than the TRX, it should translate into a lower starting price, making the RHO or Row or whatever we're calling it more affordable and to a broader audience. The RHO will not have a V8 Hemi. Instead, it's going with a twin turbocharged 3-liter inline 6 Hurricane engine that comes from Jeep. That'll make 540 horsepower at 28 psi of boost. I also want to say at 28 psi of boost is insane for.
That's a lot. That's a lot of boost.
Dude, when I was younger and into the scene, 28 psi was like this. That's
drag cars.
Yeah, that's if it was a street car on 28 psi, it was a modded Evo or a DSM or something that was going to get 2 years max of little street track driving and then just epically explode.
Eric's in the comments with similar to the Forge show, super high output, said with a lisp.
Yeah. Badlands says that his new AT4 is at 29 pounds of boost. I assume he's referring to boost. since that's what we're talking about, but it is a Chevy, so you never know what 29
Tire
pounds
pressure.
is.
That's totally tire
Could
pressure.
be tire pressure. I'm curious, Badlands, did you crank it up to 29 or is that from the factory at 29?
I'm curious, is his a diesel? Because if it's 29 and a diesel, I'm like, oh,
No.
who cares?
No, they dropped the diesel.
Oh. Also want to point out that all of us will have a higher displacement engine in our vehicles than this, which makes us superior. Anyways, let's get back on track here. We don't know exactly how much torque is on top or how quickly this truck will get to 60 miles an hour, but it should be somewhere in the neighborhood of 5 seconds. Ram will position the RHO at the top of its truck lineup, which should give you an idea as to its off-road capability. There are no rugged specifics about this truck, but it should be as capable as the TRX, but with less power. Ram hasn't revealed how much the 2025 RHO will cost when it launches, but the truck will sit above the Rebel in the lineup, which starts at 61 and some change for 24, and the TRX commands nearly $100,000. So we expect the row to fall somewhere in the middle, a price tag of a mid to high 80s. The RHO will join the lineup in the third quarter of 24 as a new 2025 model. Ram will have more information about the truck, including the price, closer to the launch date.
Tyler says that we may all have a higher displacement, but we still have less horsepower and torque.
Yes.
I mean, yeah, that's true. Like, there are UFC fighters that are way smaller than me, but I'm still 6 inches taller, but they could knock me out. I'm still tall.
It's going to take both Ben and Coy's horsepower numbers together to be barely above his horsepower numbers or the Ram RHO's horsepower. One thing, Coy, I was expecting you to point out here, but you didn't, was that it's a twin turbo 3-liter inline 6. You know who else has pioneered that 3-liter inline 6 forever?
Toyota?
BMW.
Oh, BMW.
Yeah.
True. Chevy does like to copy people's homework. Like, well,
let's be curious. If you don't have anything else, that's the perfect segue into our next topic, our next news story, copying somebody else's homework. So this one is from The Drive, and it's about the XJ, which is kind of our main topic here, and how it lives on in China. Did you guys know about this?
No, not until I saw this story.
China. Yeah, so Ben proposed the idea for this topic months ago. And we've just kind of had it in our back pocket for the right time. I stumbled across this specific news article 3 months ago, so I've been sitting on this news for 3 months now. So yeah, China's car industry is a mix of copying, Frankenstein engineering, and originality that boggles the mind. They build everything from the chibi Toyota Tundra with an Isuzu engine to a fake Generation 1 Chevy Corvette that's also a plug-in hybrid. Ben, can you show off those pictures while I keep talking of that Toyota Tundra?
Give me a second while
It may come as no surprise that China is still building a derivative of the Jeep Cherokee XJ, and they're building it as a military vehicle. What you didn't expect, that is powered by one of the greatest tuner engines ever, the Mitsubishi, I'm going to say this wrong for Coy, the 4G63T. Or did I say that wrong, or did I say 4G63T?
Yeah, just 4G63.
It's just 4G63, not 4G63. All right,
4G63.
Sorry, I'm a huge disappointment. Back in 1984, Jeep's owner AMC became the first Western car maker to establish production in China under government-mandated joint venture Beijing Jeep. It cranked out a combo of Russian UAZ-based off-roaders and licensed-built XJ Cherokees for the Chinese market. I don't know why we haven't seen those rigged in SnowRunner. When Jeep was bought by Chrysler, then its Diamond Star Motors era, It became a cousin of Mitsubishi, which lent the 2.4 liter 4G64, setting the stage of what's to come. I think that's a typo in this news article. I'll go ahead and fix it for this online news agency. China produced the XJ almost unchanged until the mid 2000s before adapting it into the Jeep 2500, 2700, and later the BAW Kishi, which stuck around till 2014. Around this time, Beijing Auto Works, which is BAW, was developing a new military vehicle with the help of Chrysler called the BJ 2022. Sorry. Yes, I'd like a BJ 2022, please. First built in 2005, the XJ-derived BJ 2022 would outlast the Cherokee and remains in production today. Like China's H1 Hummer clone, it too spawned a civilian version, the Yongshi or Warrior, which was introduced in 2017 or so. It has been produced in a variety of body styles, from single cab pickups to four-door SUVs with a variety of engines, like Isuzu and Nissan diesel engines and the Mitsubishi gas turbo motors. The Mitsubishi 4G63 S4T is the actual. Yes,
All
Eric.
right.
I'm not sure if I want a Hummer or a BJ 2022.
All right, so here's the Tundra,
Yes.
and here's China's Tundra.
It's so amazing. I would drive that around so hard.
I would too.
Can you imagine taking that to Moab?
Yes, I can.
Can you imagine blatantly copying the Tundra and even calling it a Tundra?
Yeah.
No.
How you copied it? Like even your copy was crappy. Like, it's just a golf cart with a Tundra body kit.
All I can think of is like showing up to Pete's house and parking next to his Tundra with this Tundra.
That'd be
Just
hilarious.
being like, oh, look at this. Now this. Yeah.
Honestly, this is like a golf cart build to make fun of Tundras. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
It looks
This
like
is-
I
Scion
totally
Nintendo's
agree.
bastard child.
Yeah. All right. So to be specific, the 4G63 S4T, which isn't the same one you blew up in your old Eagle Talon, it still has an iron block, a TD04 turbo, and an aluminum head, but the head only has a single camshaft. Power output slouches to 187 horsepower, 184 foot-pounds of torque, but it can be brought up to 300 horsepower easily. You throw on a dual overhead cam head, some stronger rods and pistons, and I'm sure you can crank out 400 at the wheels. It's not clear how widely produced this version of the BAW Yongshi is, but these trucks don't seem to be very hot sellers. They only have just shy of 8,000 total sales in China from 2017 to 2020. So that's four model years, and they didn't even sell 2,000 a year.
Well, it looks like it's the People's Republic of China's military vehicle. It wants to be a Hummer too at the same time, right?
Yes. Yep. Although that's not, I mean, it's kind of weird looking, but I'd drive. I think that's kind of fun. Be a fun farm truck. And it looks like
a version of a Hummer.
a Lego version
Of a Hummer, yeah. Like, I don't
yeah. You can still order these through a website called Made in China. They offer it in a single and crew cab spec. You only have a 6-speed manual transmission option. You can get it in 2-wheel drive or 4-wheel. Like, see that one right there? I think that's kind of good looking. I think I'd drive that truck.
You know, I honestly would drive it just for the looks. Just
$9,000.
Here's my question.
$9,000, Ben. You could have had this, a brand new truck, instead of your truck for $9,000.
So my question is, how is this considered a Cherokee?
It uses the chassis and a lot of the suspension components.
They didn't actually make a Cherokee knockoff. Before the military one here, there was no Cherokee.
No,
knockoff.
there wasn't a Cherokee knockoff, but there was a licensed XJ that was sold in China. So they did sell the XJ in China under AMG
with a 4G63T in it.
No, not with a 4G63T.
What did it have? What did the?
It doesn't say what the XJ had in the Chinese version.
I'm just saying $9,000. It's not terrible. It's not.
It's not terrible, especially if you can throw a head and some rods on that thing, and you could have a 4-wheel drive 400 horsepower
Just
fun rig.
for a second, can you imagine there's a parallel universe existing all around us right now, where in 1989 or whenever Jeep XJs came out, and Chrysler also owned a part of Mitsubishi, and in America they have a Jeep Cherokee with a 4G63T. Can you imagine? And right when that would have been during like the import, craze. There were been dudes in Cherokees just throwing Borg Warner dish plate sized turbos and Turbonetics Godzilla blow off valves on their Jeep Cherokees.
Yeah. You know those
to live in.
Those guys over in Saudi Arabia that are using the Nissan Patrols and the Toyota Land Cruisers, and they're using the 2-door versions of them, and they're doing those 900 horsepower drags up the dunes, and they're just flinging sand everywhere.
That could have been here.
I could totally. It could have been a 2-door Cherokee doing that.
Just ripping itself apart, just flexing.
Yeah,
exploding that rear hatch window from body flex.
They look like Badlands is here with they look like the NPC cars from the early 2000s open world racing games, like Need for Speed, and it looks like a vehicle that'd be in Grand Theft Auto, like an early version of it.
Yeah. One of my friends must be listening to the show, and he sent me the screenshot of the Motor Trend's first drive Toyota $10,000 pickup, which we've talked about in our news before about a month ago, but similar to that, but cheaper.
Yeah,
it's cheaper than this, and you get a turbo.
I'd much rather have that times 10.
You'd rather have this Toyota.
The fact that I could throw a dual overhead cam head on that and live out all my ricey fantasies.
You're saying you'd rather have the Chinese truck over the Toyota?
Oh, this is a tough chocolate for vanilla question, because just aesthetically and on face value, I want that Toyota. It's better in every way. But then you're like, hey,
absolutely,
with minimal mods, we could get you 300 horsepower of forced induction goodness that you know and love from your childhood. And I'm just like,
and probably for the same price. It says it's only $9,000. That Toyota says 10, but 10 is like the super cheapest you can get it. That's with no bedsides or anything. You're probably looking at like 13, 14. You throw $5,000 worth of parts at that engine, you're good to go. Send it, full send.
After I absolutely Mongolian motor mangle that first motor, which is probably within the first year that I've thrown boost at it, then that's when it gets expensive, because it's going to cost me $9,000 for low comp forge and turtles and a new block.
Please tell me that you're going to use one of those boost controllers off of eBay, the brass ones with the spring in the ball, and you just turn that threaded screw to increase the boost.
Why not? It seems safe, right? We used to crush them to make them better. How is that worse?
I can't believe that people did that, but yes.
When you look back on it, be like, hey, we used to crush boost controllers to get 8 more horsepower with channel locks, and people are like, oh yeah, no, we all did that.
Yeah. And we're almost at an hour for the show. Let's jump into the main topic, you guys.
All right. Well, we should start this off with the original Disposable Hero and what makes it the Disposable Hero. And we're talking about the XJ and what makes a Disposable Hero, and something that's cheap, sub 4K, easy to find, plentiful, lots of them out there, available mods, easy to turn into a wheeler from stock or capable out of the box, reliable, and can swap mods over to a new rig from the old rig. So like say your XJ, you just take off your suspension, your bumpers, and you bolt it onto your new XJ. So yeah, that's really what made the Disposable Hero so awesome. Is back when $1,000 cars were a thing, you'd go out and spend $1,000 on an XJ and wheel it till it wouldn't run, and then get a new one. Yeah, and Tyler's in the comments here is, I don't know if we can really replace the XJ with how much aftermarket support there is, but the problem is, Tyler, and why we're talking about a new disposable hero is because now you barely find XJs for cheap, and if they are cheap, you've got a whole lot more work. They're rotting, floorboards are missing.
We're running out of XJs. They were
Yeah.
too disposable at this
They
point.
were too
There's
disposable.
that too, yeah.
You don't save your paper cups, and if you had a favorite design one, once they're gone, you know. So I'm going to jump in real quick because it wildly lined up with this show. But if you're listening at least live, this Cherokee behind me, this nice blue two-door, this is a friend of mine's. Sadly, his dad passed away, and he inherited this. His dad bought this brand new in 96 and had it till now. It has 230,000 miles on it. It's a manual, two-door, runs, needs new tires. He's kind of asking me. He has no idea what it's worth. I'm not a Cherokee guy. I don't know what it's worth. So I just want to throw in the comments, what do you think this Cherokee right behind me, running with 230K on the clock, four-wheel drive, manual transmission,
And a two-door.
1996. What do you think it's worth?
It's a two-door, so I mean it's got to be up there. The two doors are even harder to find.
I know they're harder to find, but do people want them more?
Oh yes, the two doors are popular. At least around here, I know lots of guys that want two doors. That's what they want.
Well, maybe he can get a good price for it. Anyways, throw in the comments if you're curious or if you have an idea. Should I start just reading what we got here, guys?
Yeah, start cranking away at that.
I'm going to crank it out. The Jeep Cherokee XJ is widely regarded as an exceptional off-road vehicle.
Hold up, I got a confession to make. I just want our listeners to know that we didn't type this. This is really eloquently written. This was written by ChatGPT again. So we had ChatGPT help us with a little bit of the information on this vehicle. So if Coy starts using some really big words that you don't think normally come out of Coy's mouth, that's because ChatGPT used them.
Yeah. If I say anything about taking over America's nuclear stockpile, starting a new world, I didn't write that. The Jeep Cherokee XJ is widely regarded as an exceptional off-road vehicle thanks to a combination of design elements that enhance its off-road prowess. First and foremost, its compact size and relatively lightweight contribute to exceptional maneuverability on challenging terrain. This nimbleness allows the XJ to navigate tight trails and conquer obstacles with relative ease, making it a go-to choice for many off-road enthusiasts. Equipped with solid front and rear axles, the XJ provides superior articulation, ensuring that each wheel maintains contact with the ground. Even on uneven surfaces, this feature enhances traction and stability, crucial for conquering off-road obstacles like rocks and ruts. The XJ's four-wheel drive system, available in various configurations, further amplifies its off-road capabilities, enabling drivers to tailor the vehicle's performance to their specific conditions. The XJ's durable construction, I mean, that's,
I know. Yeah, they said durable.
Hey, you're not lying, but you're not really telling the truth either. With a unibody design and a sturdy frame, they messed up. With a unibody design.
Yeah. I left that in there just so we could talk about that.
Contributes to its resilience in challenging off-road environments. The robust chassis and suspension system withstand the rigors of tough terrain, providing a reliable platform for off-road adventures. Moreover, the availability of aftermarket parts and modifications has allowed Jeep enthusiasts to customize their XJs to meet specific off-road demands, enhancing its reputation as a versatile and capable off-road vehicle. Overall, the Jeep Cherokee XJ's combination of compact size, solid axles, advanced four-wheel drive systems, and durable construction make it a standout choice for off-road enthusiasts seeking a reliable and capable vehicle. Can I say my biggest burn right now?
Yeah.
Cherokees are just for people who can't afford Wranglers, right? Like, we all know that. Like, that's just...
Yeah.
Oh, I see. You couldn't afford a Wrangler.
I forgot to mention it earlier, but I've been reading this book, the 4x4 Suspension Handbook. It's one of the books that we got sent to us. And in here, they talk about each type of each type of suspension style, and in here they mention the XJ, and I got to find it, but it talks about how much lift it takes for each type of suspension style to fit what size tire underneath it. And I was really kind of surprised. Here it is right here. So it says 84 to 01 Cherokee XJ, 3 inches of lift to get 31s.
Yep.
And that caught me way off guard. I knew you had to lift them to get some decent tire, but 3 inches of lift to get a 31,
Bro,
4
they
inches of
didn't
lift to
have
get a
lithium powered
32.
Sawzalls when that book was written.
Yeah.
I suppose.
Absolutely not.
Yeah, you could fit 33s on a Cherokee with a Sawzall and a hammer.
Okay. It stops at 32s. It doesn't even go to 33s. So you need 4 inches of lift to go to 32s. And then it does say with additional modifications, none. So I would consider a Sawzall and a hammer additional modifications.
All right, guys. So powertrain options. The Cherokee XJ offered various powertrains, including the 2.5,
Garbage.
the 4-liter. 4-liter is pretty good motor, and later on a 2.8-liter V6 diesel engine.
Yeah,
They offered a diesel in Cherokees in America. Was that in America?
Yeah, they did. It wasn't for very many years, but yes.
Yeah,
I think Ben was saying that
Cherokee.
Ben was saying the 2.5 is garbage.
Yeah, the 2.5 is garbage. The 4.0 was amazing.
Yeah.
I mean, I've seen so many of those 4.0s go forever. I watched a video once where a guy was sitting there and he'd like put sand in it and it's still running. Like he was trying to kill it, just dumping stuff in the engine.
So they had a pretty long production run. They ran for nearly 18 years. So that's what is part of made it a classic among the Jeep enthusiasts and pretty popular.
Yep.
And when something runs that long and something is that inexpensive, you just go to the wrecking yard, the U-pull it, the pick and pull, you get those trim pieces that you need, you get the broken part that you broke, or maybe you had a lesser model and you wanted the nice.
My XJ, I got a new clutch pedal off of a guy when my clutch pedal snapped in half.
Ben is such a beast. Did you guys know? Did you guys know? I didn't know this, that the XJ was one of the first vehicles to receive Jeep's trail rated badge.
No,
I didn't know that.
I didn't know that either. I mean, that's what ChatGPT is telling me. It could be wrong, but yeah.
I see the Jeep started the participation trophy award, huh?
It's innovative design.
They are the ones that invented that.
Yeah, it's a unibody construction of the XJ was a departure from the traditional frame-on body SUVs, providing lighter and more nimble platform. This design influenced later SUVs and crossovers. Well, thanks for ruining the market, Jeep.
Yeah, that's a good point.
I mean, technically, Cherokee's the original crossover, right? Like,
yeah, I mean, it's a glorified Subaru, right? Or Subaru is a glorified Jeep, or
more or less. They made quite a few different variants of the XJ as well. In addition to the standard model, they had special editions, limited sport, the country. We all know how sweet that one was. These editions often came with like specific features and mostly trim editions and stuff.
Yeah. And it was used in off-road racing, motorsports. Its compact size, solid axles, and capable suspension made it a favorite choice.
Mostly tough truck competitions.
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah. Where you didn't mind it just getting totally trashed.
Yeah. Where it just got loaded on a record, taken out.
Beyond its automotive reputation, it's been left a mark in popular culture, appearing in movies, TV, video games. Its rugged image and distinctive design have made it an icon in the SUV world. It's a brick on wheels.
Iconic for me is like it was the second male Jeep. You all have that thought in your head of a male Jeep.
Yep.
And then you say that no, the next male Jeep, and you go, oh, it's Cherokee male Jeep.
That's a good point.
The Jeep Cherokee XJ is pretty highly guarded, but it does have its own set of issues, and I'll burn through those really quickly. Rust concerns, a prevalent problem they had with rust, especially regions where road salt is used in the winter. Unibody construction made certain areas extremely susceptible to corrosion, such as rear quarters and floor pans. Cooling system challenges.
Hold on. I just want to say I've seen people lay on the ground, reach through their floorboard, and unlock their car from through the floorboard on an XJ.
Aaron, don't you remember when you were helping me with my clutch and on mine when we were pulling out the transmission and I handed you the wrench through the floor?
Yes, I do.
Don't you just stop working on it if there's a rusted hole in the floorboard? You just set it on its way.
Nope.
No, you just hide it under the carpet and don't tell people about it when you sell it to them.
Yep.
Wow. Cooling system challenges. Some XJ owners experience cooling system issues, including radiator and water pump failures. The 4-liter engine, while robust, did face overheating problems if the cooling system wasn't maintained properly. Yeah, and 3, electrical gremlins. This is the one I remember the most. This and the transmission issues. While the XJ age, electrical problems like faulty wiring, sensor issues, and gauge malfunctions were reported. Transmission concerns. The automatic transmissions, especially in the early models, were cited for issues like slipping and failure. Regular maintenance and careful driving were essential for longevity. Window regulators.
Careful driving.
Yeah. That explains my problem.
Have you ever seen someone carefully drive a Cherokee, though?
No.
Window regulator failures. Owners sometimes face problems with power window regulators failing, causing windows to become stuck, open or shut, or in between, which I don't know if they're known for that. Like, that's a 90s thing, not so much a Jeep thing, I think. But
that's a good point.
Door hinge wear. Due to frequent use of the rear doors, the hinge wear and sagging were reported by many owners. Regular lubrication maintenance could help mitigate. Steering box wear. Steering box wear was another reported concern, leading to play and imprecise handling. And then the Chrysler 8.25 rear axle issues. Some models equipped with the Chrysler 825 rear axle had issues with the axle shaft bearings and seals, potentially leading to leaks and reduced performance.
The door hinge wear is for the wheelers. It's not from that. It's because the frame is twisting so much and staying twisted.
Not the frame.
The unibody.
The
unibody.
I love the videos of them jumping and the back window shattering because the body moved so much it would explode the back window. Like, iconic for that.
I feel like I've seen a lot of XJs with missing windows.
Yeah, like, it's insane. And I know, to be fair, like, even 4Runners, like, some guys have like taken the doors off and like the doors are part of the structure, so you off-road them with the doors off, and then you can't put them back on and stuff. Mm-hmm. Like, that's not just a Jeep thing, but dude, Cherokees, like, if you took the doors off while it was in your driveway, you can barely put them back on.
Well, and it's funny, I've seen FJ guys with their doors off too, and it's the same thing.
They have to put the tube door in. Do you ever notice they don't just take the door off; they put a tube door in there?
Oh, I know. I've just seen them without the doors. I'm just like, aren't you worried about getting that back on again?
All right. So we went through as the hosts of this show and we kind of brainstormed about some vehicles that we thought might be the top contenders here. So I'm just going to read off all of them real quick, and then we're going to go through our picks. So what's so super similar, but the Grand Cherokee, the ZJ, those are pretty plentiful. And I think that you can get it for pretty cheap. Second gen 4Runners, first gen Xterra, early Toyota Tacomas might not be as cheap. Ford Rangers, Dodge Dakota, the H2 Hummer. For some reason,
H3 Hummer.
Okay, I was going to say I thought we were talking about the H3.
Yeah, I don't know.
There we go.
I'll put in there.
Yeah. Dyslexia. The Jeep Liberty, the KJ version, Subaru Forester, and the Chevy Colorado. So some options there. So who wants to go first?
I'll go last.
I'll jump in
Coy?
with the first then.
All right.
I originally was going to pick the H3 Hummer. I had a strong case for it. They aren't worth anything price wise. You can pick one of these up for $6,000 all day long in decent condition. But I finally decided there really isn't enough of them numerically, like
Yeah.
to really fill that. Although I feel like it is a good replacement, they're just physically, they don't, not enough of them exist. So I bumped my choice to the first gen Chevy Colorado or GMC Canyon that was made from 2004 to 2012. Just the Colorado had a sales number of about 480,000. So obviously, Canyon's going to be a little less than that, but they made quite a few of these. The Chevy Colorado was introduced as a replacement for the Chevrolet S10 pickup. It was aimed at providing more modern and versatile mid-side truck. The first generation Colorado was built on the GMT 355 platform, which it shared with the GMC Canyon. The platform was developed by General Motors for mid-sized trucks and SUVs. Colorado was offered in various body styles, including regular cab, extended cab, which had rear half doors, suicide doors, as we call them, and crew cab configurations. This allowed customers to choose between different seating options. The first generation Colorado came with a range of engine options and initially just offered a standard 2.8 liter inline 4 and an optional 3.5 inline 5 engine, and later a more powerful 5.3 liter V8. I believe it also bumped to a 3.7 liter inline 5 later. The Colorado is one of the few mid-sized trucks with a V8 option. Transmission options include 5-speed manual, 4-speed automatic, 5-speed automatic, depending on trim and engine. Colorado was available in a bunch of different trims, including the LS, LT, Z71, and the high-performance ZQ8. The ZQ8.
Not heard of that one.
It has like
ZQ8.
it has like kind of a body kit on it. You've seen them before.
Okay.
Had a sport tune, suspension, and performance-oriented features. The first generation Colorado was capable of towing moderate loads with towing capabilities ranging from 2,000 to 6,000 pounds, depending on engine configuration. In 2009, Colorado received a slight facelift, which include changes to the front grille and headlights and other styling elements. The interior was also updated and new features were introduced. Now, my argument for it being the new disposable hero, there's a decent amount of mods available for this. Like it's pretty well supported. Maybe not as much as the Cherokee was, but plenty of support. You can take the suspension off of an H3 and bolt it onto a Colorado, giving it like a 2.5-inch long travel. With junkyard parts.
Like that.
That's from what I understand. You can. The front diff out of an H3, there were some locker available ones with front lockers. You can steal those and put them in your Colorado, from what I understand. So there is some factory cross compatible stuff that you can kind of, get away with for cheap-ish. There's a V8 option. So everybody can talk about how they're going to swap a V8 into theirs later, even though we all know they won't. You know what I mean? So they're like, "Oh, I'm building this Colorado. We're going to put a V8 in it." I'm like, sure you will. Sure you will. Badland Industry says, well supported, LOL. I'm basically the last company actually making parts for them. I'm not, they're not a JK, but I'm saying you can definitely get parts for them. And also the Chevy Colorado, I feel like it straddles the thin line of being known for being reliable, but also having insane reliability issues. Like you'll see them with 200,000 miles, people with no problems. You'll see people that just had problems 100% of the time. And, they make bumpers and all the good stuff for these. So I think it's a decent replacement.
All right. Well, I was supposed to share this picture when you were talking. Sorry.
Oh, sorry.
Here's Koi's picture. Looks pretty rugged. looks pretty rugged.
They don't look bad. If
No.
you've never been around them and you don't already hate them for being what they are, it looks good.
All right, Will. As you probably guessed, I picked a Nissan product. When I was looking back and thinking
Hang on
about
one
these.
second. Tyler Burns asked what your range is on the first gen. 2004 to 2012 is what I understand. They actually started making them in 2003 as a 2004 model, though. All right, go ahead, Aaron.
Yep. So I picked the first gen Xterra. They didn't make them for very long, which I'm kind of sad about. But then again, when they switched to the second gen. But the sales figures for the U.S. Are incomplete. I could find 4 out of the 6 years, and if I do an average using those 4 years and average two more years, you come out with 454,000 of them that were built, which is almost as many as the Chevy Colorado, which was built for a couple more years. So there's quite a bit of them out there.
Hang on. Chuck puts in the comments, what were you hunting for? A Cherokee, a Nissan, or a Colorado? I'm curious what you're looking for.
Oh, gotcha. A big boy build. Like it. I'm wondering if he's talking about a Cherokee.
One right behind me, man.
Yep. Colorado. There we go.
I got the perfect Colorado for you.
Yeah, Coil sell it to you.
One of those for sale too.
So the Xterra was introduced as a compact SUV designed for outdoor enthusiasts and adventurous drivers. Obviously, it's based on the Frontier platform. I don't know if you guys remember, but they had some pretty cool advertisements, whether it was magazine advertisements or TV commercials for the Xterras back in the day. It featured a rugged and boxy design with a unique roof and rear tire mounted on the back, which gave it a distinctive off-road appearance. What they don't say also is that it had a fully boxed frame, which a lot of other rigs didn't have. Usually a lot of rigs had the, I might be speaking out of turn. The second generation for sure was a fully boxed frame. I don't know if the first gen was or not. I'll have to check into that. The Xterra was known for off-road capabilities, which had features, right here, such as a fully boxed ladder frame. I guess I should have read through what ChatGPT wrote for me to say to everybody. Solid rear axle, optional four-wheel drive, designed to handle various terrains, making it popular among enthusiasts. Base engine was a 2.4 inline 4, and it had a more powerful 3.3 V6. And later on, you could get that engine supercharged, which I believe gave it 10 more horsepower. It may have been 20 more, not much. 5-speed manual or 4-speed automatic transmission could be paired with it. It came as an XE, an SE, or a supercharged SE. First generation was designed to be practical and functional, with features like a washable cargo area, fold flat rear seating, easy to clean surfaces that will accommodate active lifestyles. In 2002, it received a facelift. They called it like Generation 1.5, which included updates to the exterior styling and interior features. The facelift version featured more refined look and additional comfort and convenience features. It gained popularity for its off-road capability, versatility, and affordable pricing. It appealed to a niche market of consumers seeking a rugged SUV for both daily driving and outdoor activities. So really similar to Coy's argument. There's people out there making parts and pieces for these things, and they're somewhat reliable. If you treat them well, they'll last a good time. There isn't any real parts interchangeability with anything other than the Frontier, as far as I know. They're a little anemic, but one thing about the Xterra is that they were pretty lightweight. They didn't weigh that much. When you got to the second generation, they got a lot more bloated and a lot more weight. Someone just sent me a text of a 2000 Xterra, great condition, 4x4, garage kept. It's for sale here in Tacoma for $3,600 right now on Craigslist. So that's pretty cheap. If you want that look, one of the bummers about them is and maybe this is just all vehicles from that age, but the black trim fades to gray so hard and so fast.
Well,
But
there's I'm trying to think of the name of the company, because that was a problem with the JKs too. But there's trim renewal stuff now. It's like a wipe
Yeah.
that you literally, and it just brings it
Yep.
back to life.
Back to Black is a brand
Yeah.
that makes something like that. So yeah, there's a lot of them built. You can find them at wrecking yards. They're super cheap all over the internet. They aren't the most capable wheeler, but they can get the job done. So, and if you like them that much, they might push you into the second generation category of Xteras, and you'll have an even better rig. It's kind of like a stepping stone to the next rigs.
Yeah, it's kind of like owning what was it, a YJ, and then graduating up to the TJ or the JK.
Yeah, exactly. What do you got, Ben?
All right, so I'm putting my fists up. I'm ready. I'm grabbing my vape pen. Okay, so I went with the Subaru, and the reason being is, a lot of people think, you need that hardcore rock crawler, but you got to think of who's buying the disposable hero. And a lot of the times it's teenagers, right? So you want a somewhat cheap vehicle, semi-reliable, minus, head gasket issues and all that. That's the usual teenager car, right? Head gasket issues. Teach your kids to work on your cars, right? Gets them hooked. So I went with the Subaru Forester. I went with the second gen, 2003, 2008, kind of fix that demographic of the time frame and the price. They only have 200,000 in the US, but that doesn't mean you can't get parts from outside of the US. And there's lots of parts out there, and there's lifts for them. There's all that other stuff. And I'm gone into my argument before talking about it being a compact crossover SUV, blending elements of traditional station wagon with those of an SUV. So you fit your friends in there. Versatile alternative to your conventional SUV. The first gen Subaru shares the platform with the Impreza, which, if you're of our generation, the Impreza is like the original drift rally car.
No, I'm shaking my head at Chuck Holt's comment. He said he has a buddy building a Forester on 1 ton and 42s.
Right? See,
how is that different from building an XJ? It's literally the same.
It's literally the same. Yes.
Yeah, it's so they
That's
came
what
with an
people do.
all-wheel drive system. Not the best for off-roading, no low gear, but I mean that can be modified, right? I'm sure it can be done. Different trim levels. And there's even a sportier S/TB model with a turbocharged model. Each trim level came with varying levels of equipment and performance features. The S/TB model introduced later in the first generation.
As it says introduced later in the first generation, I wonder if you have information incorrect here or something, because the turbo model was called the XT.
Yeah,
and it's weird. I've never heard of an S/TB model here.
But it's originally the Foresters and Subarus in general were known for their safety, as being one of those safety vehicles. And it's all-wheel drive, great in the snow, ABS, airbags, and it's kind of boxy, rugged appearance, tall roof line, large windows, so you can see where you're going. Despite its compact dimensions, the Foresters designed ample interior space, including a roomy and flexible cargo area, and the rear seats could be folded down so you could lay in the back, and nice flat floor in the back. And the first gen was super, and the second gen's even cooler in my opinion. And there's lifts and stuff for them. So like I was saying with my argument, there's lifts. It's cheap. It's fairly reliable. I mean, Subarus all have the head gasket issue, from my understanding. There's plenty of them out there. and I mean, throw a lift on it, throw a tent on it, or, you know, throw a lift on it, some tires, or just some tires and go hit the dirt with it. I mean, it's a
Well-
great rig to learn on.
One thing I wanted to point out, and we all picked vehicles that fit this description, was something with 4 doors. And that was not all XJs were 4 doors, but the majority of them are. And it seemed like anytime you see an XJ out on the trail, there's somebody in the back seat because your buddies are riding along with you. You're a teenager. It's your wheeling rig. Your buddies jump in. You go wheeling. All of our rigs have that about them. You've got those 4 doors, so your broke friends can ride around with you. I think that's super important if you're going to fill that gap as the new disposable hero.
Yeah, I was hanging on the point of the Ford Ranger because of just how many Ford Rangers there are out there.
A lot.
There's a bajillion Ford Rangers out there. You see them turned into wheelers all the time. I think the Ford Ranger would be my second pick out of this because of just how many there are, but it doesn't have that 4 doors. And that was something we kind of talked about behind the scenes, was just how many, having the 4 doors being something. I mean, they had the
I
extra
feel like the
cabs.
Ranger is the disposable pre-runner.
Yeah,
Am I
Yeah.
wrong? I mean, it does to
not
me. Like,
wrong.
if you're in California, Arizona, Nevada, the Ranger might be higher on your list there.
And they made that first gen until what, 2012, 13, something like that.
Well, that wouldn't be the first gen.
Well,
No, it wouldn't be the first gen, but they just made a lot of
Yeah.
Ford Rangers, no matter the generation.
Yeah.
They did make 4-door of the last generation before we got this newer one.
Yeah,
Um,
true.
Oh, the Ford
in other
Splash
coun-
edition with a
in-
sweet step side and 4 doors.
Yeah. in other countries got the 4-door, but we didn't get it here. So
Yeah.
kind of look like the S10 crew cab, those 4-door S10s from back in the day.
Yeah, but I figure I just thinking about like especially like kids, you get them into wheeling. I think like a Subaru really would set it off as a good start to where it's like, hey, you can't go too crazy, but if you dump enough money into it, you can get crazy with it because they make skid plates and bumpers and all that. Like you could take it to a level to where you're like a mildly built Jeep. Not super
No, I think you could get it to a level of a Jeep. I don't think it could be a Jeep with anything bolted on, but
Unless I'm pretty sure you can get a low range for these from like Australia. And until you got a low range in these, it's hard to
Yeah.
say that you're going to be comparable with anything else with a low range.
All right.
yeah, fun choice.
All right, guys, does that wrap this episode up? I mean, have we fully solved the question of what the next disposable hero is?
I want to hear what our listeners' thoughts are. And if you want to let us know, you can write to us the old-fashioned way. Or you can call us at 605-SPOTTER. Leave us a voicemail. I want to know what you guys think.
Oh yeah, there is a company that does. That's crazy.
Yeah, Chuck Holt mentions they made actual lockers for them as well. Yeah,
Yeah.
they did. I think there's a lot of cool parts out of Australia for these.
Yeah.
All right, guys. Next week we're gonna do an episode on tent heaters and hot tents. I've been looking at some of that myself, and so I've been researching it anyways, and not so much personal experience, but I'm gonna bring all the research I can to you guys, and we're gonna talk about why these new Amazon diesel heaters are basically the best thing. But we're gonna bring other options as well.
Yeah. And we want to thank everybody. We want to thank everybody who listens to us weekly, especially you guys who are watching us live on our Facebook page, on YouTube, X, for all of our people who watch us on Twitter. You know who you are. We appreciate you guys out there. Please share us with your friends. Help us grow. Tyler, I'm going to call you, send you a text after the show, and God bless America.
Don't forget to visit Patriot Patch and join the Patch of the Month Club. Check out our Gaia affiliate link for up to 40% off. Also, don't forget to head over to Warren Colby Valve and 4 Patriots to see all of their great products. We are a proud part of the Firearms Radio Network. Got a question or comment? Send it to us through our Linktree account or by searching for Off-Road Podcast. Also, you can listen to us live at overlandradio.com Mondays at 7 p.m. Pacific. When off-road, please remember to have fun, tread lightly, and be safe and courteous. Thanks for listening.
Everything Ben owns is a disposable hero after he's done with it.
That's kind of why I put the second gen. I had the second gen Forerunners on there. I mean, like they fit the category, and they're the bastard childs of the Forerunners, just like the fourth gens are.